What's up, gear mortals? Trey Xavier here. It's a new year-ish. I know it's February and maybe a little late for any kind of New Year's resolutions or anything like that, which this is not. I decided that this is gonna be the year that I start to focus my guitar practice time. I feel like I've plateaued a little bit. A lot of what I do in general is either just like mindless noodling, playing things that I've played for a long time and I already know that I'm good at, just to make myself feel better, and just a general lack of focus of any kind. So I decided to develop a menu of things to keep myself from mindlessly noodling. The reason that I'll do that is that I don't have anything in particular that I'm trying to play. I just want to play guitar because I like playing guitar, and then I wind up playing the same crap over and again. I'm sick and tired of it, to be honest. Thinking of it as a practice routine, if I'm looking at it like, oh, I have to sit down and do all of this, then I'm just not gonna do it. So instead, I'm thinking of it as a menu of things that I could be doing to improve my playing. I have 5 different items. This video is sponsored by Positive Grid and their Spark practice amp, which I'm sure you have heard of and heard the hype. I wanted to spend a bunch of time with it before I decided whether or not I was going to put it in a video, you know? I had such a great time with it, not just as an amplifier, but also as a practice amp. It has tons of awesome built-in tools to make practicing better, more convenient, and more fun. I'm gonna demonstrate a lot of the other things that it does that will enable you to have more productive practice sessions as we go. Really, this one's the appetizer, right? The warm-up and strength exercises. Because it doesn't take very long, I'm gonna do that probably every time. So I sort of have like the mini warm-up that I do, and it's really simple. I just do like a little stretch like that, hammer on, pull off, I skip a string and pull off, same shape. And then I go to the string that I skipped, hammer on, pull off. And I do that throughout the whole neck of the guitar, starting up high and then working my way all the way down because the stretch gets bigger as you go, right? And I'm also doing pick and then like a hybrid pick with like middle finger, etc. until I get down here. And by the time I go through the whole neck of the guitar, I'm starting to feel pretty good and warmed up. It does a lot of the things that you're gonna be doing on the guitar: hammer-ons, pull-offs, a big stretch, string skipping, and it just usually gets my fingers going enough. The main thing that I do to strengthen my left hand is to do something called trills. And a trill is just, it's a hammer-on and a pull-off over and over again. It's basically all your left hand does. You're either putting your finger down on the string or taking it off. That's like at least 90% of the job. By doing them over and over again in rapid succession, you start to build up real strength. It's almost like a fast-forwarded practice routine, right? And the jam is to do this timed so that you can track your progress. So start off like 15 seconds for each finger. If you're not really feeling the burn, then see if you can go to 20, 25, 30, whatever. And then the next time you do it, add a couple seconds. This takes like a minute or less a day. You will see improvement within 2 or 3 days. You're gonna be like, how did I get so good at this? Something that I like to do for my right hand to strengthen it, because I feel like I kind of neglect my right hand a bit. I'll do like a bunch of downstrokes and then a bunch of upstrokes, like 4 or 8 of each, like down, 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 up, 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 up. Upstrokes aren't something that we're used to doing a lot of in a row. So, like, you think you're hot shit until you start doing 10 upstrokes in a row. And then you feel terrible. All downstrokes are easy if you've played Metallica for 10 minutes in your life. But if you can get your upstrokes even close to killing as hard as your downstrokes are, you're gonna be able to hit the guitar pretty good and hard when you need to. So those are things that I can kick off every single practice session with, because that's like 2 or 3 total minutes. One thing that I've been thinking about a lot is the difference between practice and maintenance. After playing for a very long time, I'm able to sort of keep up what I need to do just through like some basic maintenance stuff. Maintenance is extremely important on any instrument because you need to be able to be at a certain level at any given moment. If you're performing every night for a crowd, you have to be able to play the songs to a certain level. But then there's learning and improving, which is the real practice, which is getting above where you were yesterday. So pretty much all the rest of this stuff falls under that category. Improv and phrasing. This is a big one because I've noticed that when I noodle, when I'm improving, I have like, you know, a little library of licks that just kind of goes over and over and over again, and I'm not really connecting to the instrument. I'm not playing very musically, and most importantly, I'm just not really happy with my phrasing. One thing that drastically improves my phrasing and improv abilities is singing along to the things that I'm playing. Try playing a note first and then matching it with your voice. Bum, and then singing a note and trying to match it on the guitar. Bum, bum, bum. And then slowly do that building phrases like Anytime I feel like I am not as connected to my guitar as I should be, I usually will sit down and do this for a little while, and it allows me to connect my musical brain to the guitar. This is gonna make playing music a lot more fun for me because I'm gonna play stuff that I care about more and stuff that feels better to play. This is gonna help me play things that matter. The first time that I did this, I was like, oh, what if I opened a door? It also kind of forces me to play a little bit slower because I can't sing that as fast as I can play. And that usually makes for some better phrasing and forces me to focus on playing musically. Vibrato, muting, finger tone. These are things that are gonna make your playing sound really polished and feel really good. I've noticed like with my vibrato, at the end of a phrase when I do something, it tends to get kind of noisy, like I'm scraping against stuff. I'm not really good at like isolating the string. So that's the only thing that you're hearing instead of like, you know, Guitar Hero noises. The thing about practicing vibrato is that you basically just have to do it. It's not practicing so much as just doing vibrato. You know, different kinds of vibrato, like wrist vibrato. Sort of more finger vibrato. I think that doing this kind of wrist vibrato is a lot better sounding, but I gotta make my fingers strong, and I'm gonna do it with every finger because you never know which finger you're gonna wind up on at the end of a phrase, and you gotta do some vibrato. And then this thing, I don't really know if that qualifies as a vibrato, but it's basically in the same category, and I love the way that sounds. Because I don't practice it really big and outrageous, when I want it to come out big and outrageous and like Brandon Ellis, Taylor Washington, big dick vibrato, it just doesn't happen the way that I want it to. And so I'm gonna practice doing it really big and outrageous. Even though that's a little bit much for a lot of situations, it's kind of like having a bigger gun for when you need it, because there are times that I want to do it like that. A lot of my favorite players have really big vibrato. It's just more about control. If you can drive an 18-wheeler, driving a sedan is going to feel like a walk in the park. But if you need to break out the big guns, you can do that too. So my goal is to practice vibrato of all different kinds on every finger. Oh yeah, like this one is weak. And the pinky is the worst. I always feel like when you're practicing, you gotta try and push yourself way past where you think you'll need to be. If you're always playing to the extent of your abilities, it probably means that you're not quite where you actually need to be, because you don't want to be scraping the ceiling of what you're able to do. You want to be able to really crush it all the time. For example, if I'm learning a song that's at 150 BPM. I want to push it to like 160, 170, because if I can comfortably play it 20 BPM faster, then I'm gonna be good to go at the original tempo. I apply this philosophy to pretty much any of these things on the guitar. Amateurs will practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Muting. So muting is just about playing cleanly. I play pretty clean already, but I go back and I listen to, especially when I'm improvising, and there's just a lot of string noise, just like stuff ringing out. It's most obvious when I'm playing something that's really high gain, so let's pull up a high gain patch. Let's go over to the metal preset. Tread plate style's not really my jam. We got a bunch of different possibilities here. I'm gonna grab this one that is clearly a 5150. Pull some delay in. Cool, so I'm gonna save that as my preset for super high gain metal. Spark is, of course, a modeling amp, and all of the sounds and amp models and everything come from Positive Grid's other products like Bias and Bias Effects and all that. So I kind of put muting and finger tone in the same basic category, just making your playing sound good and not noisy. One thing that I noticed that I do a lot that I really need to consciously work on is playing actually on the tips of my fingers rather than kind of on the side. And I've kind of done it wrong for so long that it's gonna take a little while to get my habits under control, but it's always just a little bit of a dance back and forth between your left hand muting and your right hand muting. Yeah, see, like I got a little open string action there I wasn't trying to get. And I think I retreat to the safety of having a flat first finger, which helps me mute all the other strings. That feels weird and awkward and unnatural to me a little bit. I'm just gonna have to really work on doing it until I make a habit out of it. And I think if I work on all of this stuff, little problems like that will start to go away. And then I'm gonna feel more confident about my playing. I'm gonna be able to port ideas straight from my brain onto the guitar in real time without feeling like I'm always right at the edge of my abilities. It'll be more comfortable and therefore a better musical experience for me and for the listener and for whoever I'm playing with. Transcriptions, that's just like a fancy way of saying learning things by ear. I'm not actually gonna write anything down. I'm just gonna learn songs, learn licks, phrases, little things from other players, because this is really the #1 way to become a better musician. That's just all there is to it. If you learn other people's parts, you're going to get better. The best players out there are ones who have done tons and tons of transcriptions. And this is something that I've done quite a bit, but still not nearly as much as I want to. I have a whole video called How to Learn Songs by Ear, and if you've never done it before, you can start there. I learned one revocation solo, and it's influenced every guitar solo that I've written since then. Why the hell don't I do more of that? Now, the way that Spark is going to help me on this particular journey is that I'm gonna go to the music tab, and then I'm gonna go to the search. I'm gonna put in the song that I already did, Scorched Earth Policy by Revocation. I'm gonna search that. I'm gonna be able to play the song off of YouTube. I'm for sure getting demonetized by this, but. So it's analyzing the chords in real time. It's not magic. It's not gonna create a complete transcription just by analyzing it, but it is able to generate an approximate chord chart for me, which is outrageous. I mean, I can't believe it. F sharp. Like that's right. It's in a different tuning, so it literally generated all the right chords in like less than a minute. I wasn't interested in learning the chords, but knowing what chords are going on during any given part of a song are the first thing to learning and understanding what's going on in the song. So that is an incredibly handy tool. Now we've got this chord chart for the whole song. I could go to a certain part of the song. I can create a loop that's however big I want it to be. I can change the speed to half speed and then play it back. And that's gonna make transcribing a song just so much easier. And I can do it all from the corner of my bedroom. Mind you, this is all through Spark as a Bluetooth speaker. And we have time and rhythm. This is another thing that's just gonna improve the overall feel of your playing. It's gonna make it better for you to play with other people, because if you have really good time, then you're always really fun to play with, especially like chords, rhythm guitar playing. That's something that you gotta be rock solid. There's two different ways that I could go about practicing this. Number one, Spark has a built-in metronome, which I can set the tempo wherever I want. And I can practice playing along to just that. So that's one really easy and quick way to do it. The other thing I can do is use the Smart Jam function, which allows me to instantly generate jam tracks. We're just gonna use the funk one for right now. And it gives me a little chord chart, a backing track with just the drums and bass. So as you can see, I need a lot of work in this department. Obviously, that was a little too fast for Trey, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna turn it down to 100 BPM. A little bit more my tempo. And then I can gradually increase the tempo until I'm getting better at it. So that's what my guitar practice menu looks like for 2021. Maybe I'll blast through all this stuff and get amazing at it and have to write a new one before the year is out. Much more likely that by the time we get to 2022, I will have done a lot of these things and I'll still be working on them, because playing a musical instrument is a lifelong pursuit. You're always gonna be improving a little bit, maybe a lot sometimes. Even like this very low level of organization, you can improve a lot more than just the sort of mindless noodling like I tend to do without something like this. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks to Positive Grid and Spark for sponsoring this video. This is a really cool practice amp. It's not just like a practice amp in the traditional sense, but it's an amp that helps you practice. And I'm hoping that for this year, it's gonna be here helping me to practice all the time and inspiring me to do so as well, because it sounds really good and it makes all of the things on this list much easier for me to do. I want to know what you guys are going to be working on, so leave a comment in the comments section letting me know the things that you think your playing needs more of and stuff that you're going to be really hammering away at, and whether or not you have made yourself a practice menu or a routine, if you have some kind of thing that you do every day or once a week or whatever. Really curious to know, so please leave a comment in the comments section letting me know, and I'll see you real soon.